second, they haven't had to worry about sitting there in queues. They haven't had to worry about thinking who's going to come there. They haven't had to game plan something else. They haven't had to prep for somebody to come challenge them. Now, all of a sudden, not only are you eliminated in 30 seconds with 0 points, you have to sit there for a half hour, watch everyone else play outside while you're stuck there in jail. No more games for you back in the lobby. And they're out of that rhythm a little bit. They're a trio who very much kind of rides on that momentum. They're very, very emotional players. When they made the World Cup announcement back in the day, people joked about Mitro and Mongo being the loudest duo, both for the keyboard clacks and just the way they celebrate when they make their plays. But now that they've been silenced for a second, how do they react?
Tayson will have the biggest challenge of them all. Will Mongo and Mitro put up that brick wall and not listen to his calls? It's going to be up to Tayson to kind of hold that ship from going capsizing completely. Giannis, Analex, and Xweez, they have an opportunity now to gain some grounds here. They are about 60-plus points away. They're certainly sitting in second place. Another trio that we took a peek in down in Slurpee Swamps was Kinzel, Wolf, and CR. That opens up the door to gain some ground, but we're talking about a difference of about 2 victory royales and some like close to double-digit elims. That's what's going to be required, and the difference is as well as we still have plenty of games to go, Sundown. We're just barely into the second half here of the grand finals here of the FNCS trios.
And it was starting to feel like it couldn't be overcome because of how consistent they were. There was no hope. There was nobody who wanted. Talked about it before, like Jasper and Co, yes, they 50-50'd the chess, but they were relatively successful and they turned a couple of those late games around. So especially if a top trio comes in with a game plan on how to take those fights, and they come in not necessarily fearing those 3 off of the bat, which they're one of the 3 players who can really genuinely say like, yeah, let's go fight these guys and maybe come out better than 50-50. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to think, okay, Mongo really wants to get revenge there. But if they're not, they haven't had to practice this drop being contested through the first 6 or 7 games. Now, all of a sudden, 8th game, they lose it. 9th game, if they lose it again, there's going to be that seed of doubt in there. But right now, Razumi trying to get a little bit of doubt on this team, rotating away here, and a little bit of storm tags as they just remain utilizing their soft mats to get some positioning.
And Sapphics trio here is looking for a good start here in day 2. Haven't gotten any points at the moment in 11th place. Sapphic has been one of our slayers here in the region, picking up 15-plus elims by himself. It's opening the door here. It feels like, you know, at Anas, Thomas Stacey, and Flick have slayed the beast, right? Now all the villagers are going to have a good time to try to claim that castle up there. And Nakos, Clement, and Flokies have an opportunity to storm that castle. They're sitting in 4th place at the moment. They're still about 30 points away, so that is a victory royale. They could definitely do it in one punch, but they could slowly jab their way up their leaderboard, Sundown.
I would say it's probably more equivalent to either scratching the dragon's nose and making him think for a second.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's where he breathes the fire out of, so he's got like a little, it's like, hey, let's minor discomfort. Yeah. I wasn't ready for that. I'm going to come back in a moment, but like, the villagers are celebrating. They're like, yay, we drove off the beast. Or it's like punching a great white shark in the face. It's like, yeah, you know what? You punched the great white shark in the face, but that shark is still in the water with you. Yeah, you showed that maybe you might be a little bit of a threat, and maybe you can punch back, but he's still there. They still exist, and while they're going to be forced out for just a little second, one, who takes advantage of that opportunity? And 2, what happens when that angry shark, that angry dragon, the poked bear, decides to come back in the next match? But right now, we're going to keep on board here with the teams who will have an opportunity to close the gap, because realistically, going into the back 5 of these games, only really the teams in the top 4 or maybe the top 5 can statistically still kind of overtake in doing every little thing right, making sure they maximize on the utility here, going all the way out and picking up that second big pot, and they're going to rotate back up the zone.
You know, I know the Halloween party is over and all that spooky scariness, but I've always learned to double tap. You always got to double tap and make sure that monster is down. And that's what Flick, Thomas, and Nos, they're going to have to double tap that down if they're going to keep Mongrel's trio at bay. So, Mongrel trio is out. Now let's just focus in on who is in and who has the opportunity to go up the leaderboard. And if you're questioning anybody out there, like, why would Thomas and Nas and Flick do that? Because they're slipping down the leaderboard. They started off the day with 15th. They're going down to 17th. Having Stark, that strong POI in their back pocket now, could enable them to get up their leaderboard and secure themselves thousands of dollars. All of it is on the line.
And people are going to say, oh, why would they go and grief the top trio like that? And to my response to that, are you crazy? Are you crazy? They're competing to try and be the absolute top mark.
Yes.
And if this is a trio who is more than capable of winning games, especially when you see Thomas and Anas enabled with shockwaves. That's kind of what you really need to take away. They have to have a reliable way of getting late game utility. That's how they've won their games. And if you can go Stark and guarantee that, yes, you have to fight one of the best teams in the entire game to get them. But if you want to win, you have to beat those guys anyway. And they finally said enough is enough. And if you're going to post your spot on Twitter, if you're going to talk about how you're so good at defending this spot, you better have a game plan and you better back it up. Because anybody has the opportunity to land anywhere. This is Fortnite Battle Royale. And if a team gives you a hard enough time, you need to game plan better and find a way to deal with it.
And that is what we call preach right then and there, Sundown. Now we're on board here with the BDS Robots. They got a victory royale here. They were able to have a very nice aggressive play. They kind of took the textbook of fighting on the low ground, doing really well.
Probably out.
They got a victory royale. So one of the few teams that have a victory royale, because Mongo, Mitro, and Tayson have 3 victory royales. Giannis Trio has 1 victory royale. Kinzel's Trio has 1, and as well, Gamma's Cammy's Trio has 1 as well. Cammy and Co. So those are the stories that are unfolding here. And the great thing is, we can speculate all you want, but it is the competitors themselves that answers the questions. And that is what we're watching here as the drama unfolds. And the drama will pick up for Wolfies and CRR, considering Kenzel, the back-to-back DreamHack champion, goes down. And Kenzel is just like just like Tayson for this trio. He kind of holds it all together, considering that in DreamHack, it's a very placement-heavy format. And having that ability to kind of slow pace, passively, aggressively at times whenever you needed to get your way further into in-game, that's going to help out people like CRR Wolfies, who are known to be great opens box fighter players.
But right now, we're keeping an eye on that Storm Surge threshold on the right-hand side, just above the map. We talked about them being below it. Well, the key snipe there coming from that World Cup runner-up there, the young controller player from England. Wolfies finding a great tag and a sneaky little bullet in there onto Kira through the window.
Oh, wait a second, let me stop my stream.